speaking out of Akron, Ohio, representing Team Popping the Boys, the headline god, Jeremy Lambert, and his co-host, speaking out of Atlanta, Georgia, representing more than one royal family, the king of indie viewing, Stephen Jensen. And this is the Spotlight on Fightful.
Welcome everyone to the Spotlight here on Fightful. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is Stephen Jensen. And shout out as always, the Big Dick MLJ for the intro. It is Thursday, August 13th. Plenty to talk about today, tonight. Jensen, I see you have a Viking SummerSlam shirt on there.
Yes, I do. I made sure to wear this. Thank you very much to our good friend Rob Wilkins, who was live at SummerSlam and also a fellow Minnesota Vikings fan. So Rob was looking out, and he did me a big solid, similar to you with the sign sting, which I'll always be appreciative of. Anyone who ever goes out of their way to help me grow my collection or help out my fandom at these shows, I very much appreciate. And that extends as well to Rob, of course. He got me this, and he also, I shouldn't say I paid for these, but like he made sure to get them for me. And I got a Minneapolis Nightmare shirt also, like the Cody logo with like the Vikings colors. So I wanted even more stuff. Like they had a Vikings jersey, which was pretty cool, but like a lot of this stuff sold out at like the fan access before the show even happened, I think. So Rob, appreciate you, man. And yeah, so I just wanted the main thing, I just wanted something that had like the Vikings logo on it, just some sort of crossover with the logo. That was the main thing. And so I got it. Pretty cool. Got the Vikings logo right here. And
I do like it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I do like it. That's all.
Oh, yeah, nice. So, I like it. And, I just wanted to quickly, before we get into the wrestling stuff, speaking of the Vikings, the big news, Kyler Murray officially named the starting quarterback for the Vikings. Yeah, to the surprise of not many people, Kyler is going to be the guy. I still like J.J. McCarthy, but I completely agree with the decision. Kyler, week one, we got to see what we got in this guy. We're getting him for free. And it's way harder to go the opposite direction of like saying McCarthy's the guy. And if like that doesn't work out, having to go to Kyler mid-season and then like having to maybe go back to, I know it worked out for Bryce Young getting benched. That's a kind of a rare occurrence of like a guy getting benched, but in like that same team, he gets unbenched and actually plays really well and on the playoffs. But the next season, but anyway, just wanted to throw that out there too. Obviously, big news for the Vikings, and I'm riding with Kyler. So let's make a run at this thing. But if history has told us anything in the last few years, the Vikings have needed a total of like 8 or 9 quarterbacks over the last like 2 or 3 seasons. So I mean, it's like even though we're naming Kyler the guy, McCarthy's got to be ready. Carson Wentz has got to be ready. Like these guys, it's very possible all 3 of these guys play. So.
Carson Wentz is QB3?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just completely forgot. Are you joining Club WWE so you can get like the Club WWE Cody Rhodes jacket gimmick?
I would do it if that stuff like came with the subscription, but it just gives you like the option to buy it and other people can't buy it pretty much. So it's still, you know what I mean? Okay. So it's not like, at least that's how I understand it. I'm pretty sure it's like,
I think you're right. I have no idea. I'm not joining it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't expect you to join it. And the only reason I would be specifically for exclusive Cody Rhodes stuff, but that would be if it was included in the package. Like, I'm not interested in paying money and then having to pay like a couple $100 for like a jacket or like, what I've heard is people who had Club WWE when they went to SummerSlam, they did get some cool perks. Like they got to be in like a lounge where like wrestlers came and hung out during the show and stuff like that. Like there was some, I guess, kind of cool benefits to like the meet and greet aspect of it. But I'm pretty sure all that stuff still costs money on top of being, it's like you paid for the membership, but like if you want to get in the exclusive club at SummerSlam, other people aren't allowed in, but you're allowed to pay a few $100 and you're allowed to be there. You know what I mean? So it's all a big cash grab, but I know people who are in it. My boy Gunner is in it. The Cody collector, but that makes sense because he's doing it because there's no other way to get the exclusive Cody stuff. So like he's got to be in it to fill his collection. So
D'Lo Diggs, happy birthday. I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, this weekend, but happy birthday, buddy.
Yes,
awesome. Enjoy the Wheatley vodka that Stephen Jensen, fake Cody fan, has never had, even though it's Cody branded vodka.
Okay, I'll give them free plugs because I actually love these restaurants. I love them a lot, and I go there all the time. Mexico Lindo in Georgia, and also
just go to the grocery store and buy it.
Sandy Springs Diner are the two places that, because I don't like keeping alcohol in my place because like I will drink it, and there's no point in me drinking by myself at my place at my age. It's just like there's just no point in me doing it, so I just don't have it. So I just don't like having alcohol in my place. But I do like to go have like a Bloody Mary or two a week, when I go out to some of my favorite establishments, and they don't have Wheatley vodka. They have.
But do you go by yourself to these establishments?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not just like going by myself to just like drink Bloody Marys by myself. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with people in the chat do this, Back in the day, back when I was in like my early 20s, I used to work retail, and the store I used to work in was in the same parking lot of an Applebee's, and the Applebee's used to do 2-for-1 Bloody Marys for lunch, and we'd go over there on our lunch breaks and allegedly maybe do that and then come back to work, and it was great, so I'm not above these things. I'm just saying, there's just no point in me, especially I'm like watching my weight more, watching more of what I eat. Like kind of the last thing I need to do is just be like drinking Wheatleys in my spare time. So
you don't have to drink it like every day or anything. I just feel like you gotta get it for the bit purposes.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I do need to have it like as a part
like
of my
collector.
I need a bottle. Like I need a bottle. Like I've got I've got his Minute Maid bottle. I've got his ice cream bar case.
Okay, so. Yeah. If you have that stuff, you gotta.
But I ate that stuff. I ate the ice cream bars and I drank the juice.
Still, you gotta just have the bottle and need it for the collection. You don't have to. You can take one sip of it and then the rest can just sit on your shelf the entire time. I've had that same bottle of Wheatley vodka for like 2 months now because I don't drink it. I drink it one time a week on Friday shows. That's the only time I drink it. Otherwise, it just chills because I don't drink at the house otherwise. Oh, hey, you got to just get it for the bit purposes. I don't have the Cody Rhodes bottle. I got the Cody Rhodes price, but I did not get the Cody Rhodes bottle.
Yeah, well, eventually I'll get a bottle of it for my collection, and I'll try it. I'll try it on stream. I don't care. Like, I mean, it's not like that.
You're gonna say you like it, even if it's terrible. You're gonna say you like it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't taken a straight shot of vodka in a very long time either. To be fair, like that's gonna be kind of. I took
it straight without icing it.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't good.
Tougher. Yeah,
it wasn't good. I've iced it ever since then because I have to. But yeah, that first one, it sucked. It wasn't good. It's fine iced. I'm not a drinker at all. But if I did drink, I could see the appeal of having the Wheatley. It's not as good as the Terramana though. I will say that. The Rock makes better alcohol.
Is that that's what you took a shot of at the end of the 24-hour stream? Was
Terramana? No, it was Wheatley.
That was Wheatley. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, well, I've done the Terramana White. I think that was the first thing I drank. Then I did the Terramana Gold, which I think I liked better than the White. And now I'm on the Wheatley. I think the next wrestling tie-in will be the Don Gato tequila because that's a MLW sponsor. Oh, so I think that's probably where that's going to be the next one that I go with.
Okay, well there you go. That's our two people that don't really drink very much. I used to drink a whole lot, and that's kind of also why I don't really need it around. Not that I have like an alcohol problem, obviously, because I don't even want to drink it at my place. But it's just nice to have like a. It's like the thing is, to be completely honest, I'd probably like Bloody Marys even if there wasn't vodka in them. I just like the spice and the taste of them just anyways. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like if I go and order a Bloody Mary at like a restaurant up the street and I'm like, Virgin Bloody Mary, like I'm paying probably like $10 for vegetable juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that all said, I don't know how we got down that road. By the way, I didn't
Cody.
Actually. There was a Cody.
All roads are Cody.
There was a Cody meet and greet right up the street that I didn't go to the other day.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time we didn't do a show last week because I was traveling.
Well, it sold out so fast. Like, so it went. This whole thing went on sale on like it was, I don't even know what day of the week it was. It might have been a Friday night, and because by Saturday afternoon, I was talking to my friend Hughes that comes over for AEW. We were talking about it Saturday after. It was like it hadn't even been half of a day since this thing was announced, and we were like, well, "Oh, let's get tickets to this thing." And then, but by the time we looked, it was already totally sold out. And they had this rule where it was like, for every 4 people, and like if you bring your group, it wasn't like it was a bad deal. It was actually a really good deal. But for me, I would want to went there. I would want to got something signed and stuff. But like the way they had it set up was, you could bring 4 people. It was only $75. You could do group pictures, but only one item could get signed. So like, you know, I would have went there and I would have paid $75 to do it myself, basically meet him, get a picture, get something signed. And because I've got the figure of the 2-pack of him and Brandy. It's a really nice Ultimate Edition figure from the night that he won the title, WrestleMania 40. I'd like to get both of them to sign that. Anyways, the good news is Brandy owns the studio and it's very close. I mean, I live like 3 miles from this thing. So the next time this happens, I just need a heads up before it sells out. So
join Club WWE, then you'll get a heads up on it.
Probably. But he's done this also, like he does this at DDP Yoga occasionally. He's done this at Brandy's other, like her yoga studio and stuff. So, you know, this isn't the only time I'm going to have to be able to do this. But I would have gone if the tickets didn't sell out before I even knew it was happening.
Let's get into the topics here, Jensen, because you picked something for this first topic, and I'm very curious where this is going. I like that you acknowledge the tribal chief.
I need to finish the story. In the WWE, the story never finishes.
So every week after diving the list of topics, and we've scaled back to where only you do the list of topics because I already do 5 shows a week, and so I let you cook on this show. I'm the point guard, passing it, setting up the shooter, setting up the big, whatever you want to identify as. And this week, I get the notification that the first topic is WWE is Roman Reigns an industry plant. And I just cackled. Please. I will actually, it says Roman Reigns is an industry plant. Not is he. He is an industry plant.
Wasn't a question. You put it as a question on the title for some reason. This was not a question. This is a statement. You know where this stems from, right? The discourse online about certain podcasters thinking that Roman Reigns is an industry plant.
No,
you haven't heard any of this.
You gotta keep in mind, I was not online at all from last Monday to Sunday. So if this happened during that time period, I was not online.
Okay, there were some big podcasters that were actually floating the idea, basically saying that Roman Reigns, basically the underlying kind of theme here, or the story, without getting super into the weeds on it, because everyone here knows the basic story of Roman Reigns' career trajectory. If you're watching the show, you probably enough of a WWE fan that you already know most of this stuff, obviously. But it's the concept, right, that Roman Reigns was shoved down everyone's throat as a babyface. It didn't work out. Obviously, things like have turned out the way that they have, but like the business itself, like, could basically take or leave Roman, and like it wouldn't change. Like, he's just a complete, like, they chose him, they stuck with him. It didn't work. And then, like, eventually it worked in like a way they didn't even plan it to work. But like where they're at now, it just doesn't, like, he doesn't really serve, you know, and everyone knows what an industry plant is. So it's kind of this to it. When you line those kind of concepts up and you look at it that way, all I'm saying is that, you know, you talk a whole lot of trash about Cody Rhodes and all this stuff, and you always say, you know, Roman Reigns is the top guy and, you know, tribal chief, blah blah blah. But like, what do you have to say about that as a Roman Reigns defender? The idea that, like, Roman Reigns was chosen and shoved down everyone's throats, and he's essentially an industry plant in pro wrestling. And if he never showed back up in WWE again, their business wouldn't change at all.
I think their business would change, but I guess that's up for debate. If we won't know because he's not going away anytime soon. He was 100% chosen. We all lived through the chosen era of the Shield and the post Shield, and a lot of it wasn't good, and it didn't affect business at that point. Like, he wasn't an actual draw during that era. 100% he wasn't. I mean, I could defend Roman, but easily admit this kind of stuff. Once he became the tribal chief, he changed the industry with everything. He got Netflix deals. He got ESPN deals. He carried the company through the pandemic era with everything that he did. Oh, what do you mean the business? So what are we saying here? That, like, if Roman retired tomorrow, like, you can write the history of wrestling without Roman Reigns? Is that what or that anybody could have just been in this spot and everything would have been the same?
Kind of, more or less. And also that, like, there's all back to square one again, kind of we're all like, nothing's progressing now at all anyways. Like, there's, like, he hasn't, beyond like this one specific time frame where the bloodline really worked for like a few years, the overall arc of the rest of it is just industry plant. It's just, you're the guy, and everyone else is sitting around like, okay, now your whole family is the guy. Everyone in your family gets a job. But it's just like, but based off of what? Like, you were handpicked. We get it. But, and by the way, I mean, this isn't a throw because people are I'm actually really surprised you didn't know about this before I put it as a topic. So it was Conrad who was talking about this. That's why I got so much steam online. And, people, compare it to like his in-ring work, for instance. Like, he was essentially, I think, if I remember correctly, I think he actually said like Hulk Hogan is a better in-ring worker than Roman Reigns if you really look at it. Like, and guys like Cody can actually go. Like, there were wrestlers.
He went at SummerSlam.
What? Wait, at Cody and Punk? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You didn't like that?
Did you?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, the Randy Orton appearing and helping Punk and all that wasn't a big fan of that. Really wanted Cody to win. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially the concept, is like being pushed down your throat versus organic growth. And then, like, kind of where the company is right now, almost kind of because of that, because there's no, like, obviously there's guys like Cody who are on top, but there's other kind of stars, but like, we're still, like, the thing's still right now centered around Roman and the bloodline. But I don't think that people, like, even as a Roman fan, you can't tell me that, like, the current version of what you're seeing on TV with the bloodline is anything close to as good. Not even, obviously the peak bloodline stuff is like Sammy Uso and all that stuff, but it's not even like remotely close to that level. And they're still trying to shove it down everybody's throats.
Because he's the most over guy in the company.
But is he? That's like the big industry question, is like, yeah, he's over because the WWE says he's over, but like, the audience has rejected him for the majority of his career.
They haven't rejected him for the last 6 years.
But right now, do you feel like he's at any level close to what he was when he was like in that long title reign? Like, do you think he has the same aura right now that he did during that 1,000-day reign? Do you think it's even close?
It's not. I don't think WWE as a product is close to what they were at that. So no, he's not the same at like the full on peak with it. But I mean, he's still over.
Yeah. But Cody's like over, you know what I mean? Cody's like over.
Is he?
Cody's for reals over.
I think Punk and Owens
is for real over.
Yeah, I think Punk and Owens are more over right now.
Punk's over. Owens is definitely over. Good to see Kevin Owens back, by the way. Very good to see. it was great because the crowd really wanted
Yeah.
that. When they announced Gunther, everyone was like, "Oh, I mean, it makes sense storyline wise," but like, damn. And then the double surprise being Kevin Owens was very cool.
Yeah.
But no, that was it. I mean, obviously, I chose that subject to trigger you because I think it's really funny.
But you can't trigger me because I don't care enough. Like you care about Cody.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true.
I don't feel. I only do the Roman Reigns stuff because it's funny to me and it trolls you. Like I can agree with certain aspects of it. Honestly, like no, I don't think he's as over as he was years ago. I do think that he was certainly shoved down everybody's throat during the Shield stuff. Like I fully agree with all that. I'm not going to take away what he did coming out of the pandemic. I'm not going to take away, the business that was brought in after that. Was WWE as a company hot during that whole time? Yes. Did Cody's return help? Yes, 100%. Did Punk's return help? Yes. Like there was a lot of factors that went in to, Roman and WWE getting to the level that they did. Roman was the guy that was there the entire time, though. And Roman was the guy that was on top the entire time. And Roman was the guy that was doing the biggest numbers. Whether it was his return. Dude, we'll talk about Zilla here in a second. I mean, Roman, I assume, brings in Zilla. He's the biggest thing on NXT. He's doing like millions of views on the NXT channel. That channel gets like 100,000 maybe for this stuff. And Zilla comes in and gets 1 million. Like everything Roman Reigns does just turns to gold. Meanwhile, Cody can't keep his hands on TV.
I'm gonna self-own myself so hard right now. Check this out. So, this is a quote from Conrad, but I'm going to keep prefacing this. I like Conrad.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his show, and so I'm not that. This isn't me.
I think Conrad likes Fightful and likes me as well, so I have no problem.
Yeah. So this is I'm only obviously using his name because it was kind of him putting it out there. Then a lot of discourse stemmed from it. But one of his direct quotes is, "I just don't know that there's any really truly fanatical Roman Reigns fans. When people talk about their favorite match ever, how many people list a Roman Reigns match?" And my favorite match of all time is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. So, kind of got to cell phone myself on that one too. Because I really wanted to be able to say how many people really would put Roman Reigns match. I will say outside of that match, I wouldn't have a Roman Reigns match anywhere near a top 50 or anything like that list of my favorite matches. But that specific match against Cody, it is my favorite match ever. So.
It's funny to have this conversation now because I think Roman's been the best worker over the past couple of years. And I understand he's not having, none of these guys wrestle as often, none of these guys are wrestling every television event and even every pay-per-view and stuff. But Roman and Seth was the best match at SummerSlam. Way better than Punk and Cody. Roman and Punk was the best match at WrestleMania. Way better than Cody and Randy. Roman's having the best. That triple threat match last year was the best match. Way better than Cena and Cody. Roman's been having the best matches of the bunch. And it's honestly not even close.
When you put it that way, Jeremy, the thing is with Cody's matches, he's getting stifled by terrible, it's not just it's the actual booking of the matches, especially the finishes that Cody has no control over. He's not getting Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll involved in him and Randy Orton's story.
Yeah, because Roman, if they tried that shit with him, he'd be like, fuck out of here with this.
So you're saying Cody needs to be a bit more like Hogan and just say, "Yes, work for me, brother," a little more often?
Yes.
That's fair.
That's why I think Roman is fantastic. It's because it is just all right, let me bring in my family. Let me work with my family. Do I think this bloodline stuff is long in the tooth right now? Yes. 100%. They've completely cooled down Jacob. No one knows if Jimmy and Jay are heels or baby faces because it swaps every single time. He's going to kill LA Knight at Money in the Bank, even though LA Knight is still over 2 years later when they could have put the title on him. He's going to completely squash that. Like, he beat Punk, he beat Seth. He ain't going to face Oba anytime soon. They'll probably take that until WrestleMania, and then maybe he'll put over Oba. They're bringing Solo back into the mix. Zilla just came to NXT. He'll be in the mix at some point soon. Like, I don't have a ton of interest in this stuff. It's kind of boring to me. I still think it rules that he's like, I'm only working with my family. I'm going over every match. You ain't interfering in none of my shit. We ain't doing none of this dumb stuff. And just leave me alone. I think way more people should do this stuff. It rules.
I mean, I definitely respect it. We're not going to get into the work stuff. I almost sent you a picture the other day. I actually wore a CM Punk shirt while I was in a meeting the other day. Like, while I was, I had a little something to say. I did have an interview today, actually, with my company. So wish me luck, everyone. Hopefully, I really hope I get this job. I'd be sick. But anyways, I respect people who stand up for themselves against the big corporations. It's something I learned when I was a kid, right? I don't know how old the people in the chat here are. Me and Jeremy are the same age. Remember Rocco's Modern Life?
Yeah.
Nickelodeon? Yeah. Remember that episode where it was like, you can't fight City Hall.
Yeah.
They are big and you are small. Like, I remember learning as a young kid, like, it's very hard. Like, you can't fight City Hall. Like, they're big and you're small. It's like this sounds. Also, RECYCLE Recycle. I remember all these songs from my childhood from these cartoons, and anyways, it just reminds me of that, where it's like, I can't go up against my entire company, but I can give them a piece of my mind every now and then. Like RVD has said in shoot interviews in the past, like, just because he's the way that he is, it doesn't mean he can't get heat. Like, he's in a company, but you're allowed to get a little heat with your company. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, speaking your mind every now and then, you can't cross the line, but.
Yeah, we had a whole Rare Beast saying, Jeremy can't keep getting away with making podcasts about Nicktoons. SP3 and I had a whole hour-long Nick and Disney discussion on yesterday's show. Yeah.
Really? I'm sad. I'll have to catch up on that.
Yeah, we didn't want to talk about NXT at all, so we just talk about cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s for an hour.
That's great. Was it a comparison of like Nicktoons versus like
no
Cartoon Network?
No, it wasn't even really a comparison. It was just sort of naming our favorites from that era, and then we just started just talking about everything. I don't even remember. Oh, I think it actually started because I was talking about Olivia Rodrigo, and we were talking about her, and then that became into like, she's kind of like Taylor Swift, and then it became into like Miley Cyrus, and then it became who's your Mount Rushmore of Disney Channel people, and then that's when we started to go on everything.
Mount Rushmore of Disney Channel people. I got to try that real quick. So 4 people from the Disney Channel. That includes the TV shows and the movies, like the original movies and everything.
Yeah. It's just who is Disney?
Well, I mean, Shia LaBeouf, like, easily. I mean,
I thought Shia as well. And then we agreed it should be Christy Carlson Romano because she was Kim Possible.
Ren. Oh, yeah. No, but Shia LaBeouf he's still entertaining to this day. I reference his Channel 5 interview that he did. Well, I mean, he's entertaining for the wrong ways. He's kind of a mess now, but his interviews are very entertaining. But anyway, Shia LaBeouf, he was a very funny little kid. Holes, dude. That wasn't on Disney, but that was made by Disney. Holes still holds up. That's still a good movie now.
Well, it's based on a good book, so
yes, it is. But not all the good books wind up being good movies.
That's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, Shia LaBeouf easily. I gotta really think about this because there's some good Disney Channel original movies too. Man, Johnny Tsunami was great.
Yeah, but like, you're not putting the dude who played Johnny Tsunami on there.
But like, because you're thinking like multiple, like Hilary Duff. Obviously, she was Lizzie McGuire, but she also did like. Was it Cadet Kelly? They had
Christy Carlson Romano also in Cadet Kelly.
Also in Cadet Kelly.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good argument for Ren Stevens here. Anyway, it's gonna take me way too long to go through all this. No one wants to hear
So
me
ours, we came to a consensus of it was Hillary Duff, Miley Cyrus, because you can't knock the Hannah Montana, Raven Simone, and Christy Carlson Romano. That was our Mount Rushmore.
You didn't have any guys in that? Not one guy?
No,
Dude.
Men are overrated.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like there were some funny guys on there too. It was mainly the girls you mentioned are definitely. I mean, those all made. Remember, was it Xenon the sequel?
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they also very diverse in their types of movies. It was great. I remember the one about the little Jewish kid who played basketball, the Max Keeble kid.
Okay, yeah. They had so many basketball movies. Yeah.
I Luck of the Irish. That was the basketball.
Yeah,
movie.
Luck of the Irish. They had the Twins basketball movie.
That was a double team. That's kind of sus now.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like the. I've seen jokes about that online since then.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, there's that movie. There's so many great movies. Brink and like I said, Johnny Tsunami and
I love the Brink. Yeah, Brink's a classic.
I can talk about that stuff all day. So anyway,
that's what we spent an hour doing it on yesterday's show.
Well, I need to catch up. I know SP3 is obviously, it makes sense.
Encyclopedia of all this stuff.
Went down that rabbit hole, yeah. So I like that.
Yeah. Was Shia LaBeouf an industry plant?
No, Shia LaBeouf was a very talented, very funny little kid. But then he became an adult and like didn't stop partying, and now it's like he's partying too hard out there like in Mardi Gras, like just like fighting people. It's like you can't be just like drunk fighting people.
I haven't fully kept up on what he's doing. I just know he's kind of a disaster at this point.
Yes, but I can't recommend it enough. There's a recent interview. It's Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. It was like a couple months ago. Him and Shia LaBeouf talked for like an hour, and it's the most entertaining interview I've listened to in probably years.
I'm not listening to an hour of Shia
I'm
LaBeouf.
Just putting it out there for the chat, Jeremy. I know you're not interested. You're very clear, and you're interested in my man Shia, okay? So my man, like I've ever met him before. I feel like I knew him because he was Louis Stevens, man. He was Louis Stevens. He was Stanley Yelnats. Is your first name your last name backwards? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like that's man, Holes is so good.
We did think of having Zach and Cody on there because they did Sweet Life and Sweet Life on deck. So that was Ashley Tisdale was another one because she did the High School Musical movies, and those were huge. So, and she was also on Sweet Life.
The Zach and Cody also non-Disney but Big Daddy classic.
Yeah, Big Daddy. Yeah,
movie. Yeah, that one actually holds up better than most movies nowadays too. Because like, the idea of that's so funny to me now at my age and stuff. Especially because I buy so much dumb stuff, and like the idea of this guy like living alone is basically like if a kid showed up at my doorstep, it would be a very similar type of situation for like that guy went through in that movie. I'd be like, it'd be a complete just responsibility shift, and then I would be raising the kid probably the same way, just letting him do whatever he wanted because I wouldn't know what to do. But like Franken, we call him Frankenstein, and let him wear scuba goggles and flip flops to school. Oh man, great stuff.
All right. Anything else from Roman Reigns?
No, man.
Okay.
No, just not as good as Cody. But I mean, that doesn't mean he can't have a good match with Cody. So.
Well, he carried Cody in both those matches because Cody hasn't had a good match since.
Over 1 million fans and a great number in the demo tuned in. It was a great show, and I think it's been a run of great shows.
You cut me off. Yeah, I know.
I know.
Yeah.
AEW All In filling out. You picked Takeshita against Okada against Kyle Fletcher for the international title, but we can kind of talk about anything that's been announced for All In, especially since we missed last week. But specifically this match, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the main reason I picked this match is just because it's one of the more. I mean, it's All In's obviously shaping up to be a great card. It's been a run of great shows, but I think that this match in particular, there's obviously a lot of history there with all three guys. And it's an unpredictable match, because a big part of me is like, well, Kyle Fletcher's done great with this international championship. I don't really see any reason to end his reign, but they hot potato these titles so much, especially their trios titles. Just the last time we talked, I was like, every time there's a trios match, pretty much, there's a new champion. What's the point of these belts? And it just keeps happening. It's like Breaking Bad, man. Like, you can't keep getting away with it. Why are you doing this, Tony? What's the point of these belts?
Well, the division looks good right now. I mean, Swerve's there, and New Day might be there with Swerve pretty soon. So, I mean, the titles keep changing, but the division's got some star power to it right now.
I agree. You just don't need belts to accomplish this. Because now you have MJF carrying around his belt, and you have the Ring of Honor belt.
He's the one true champion.
Every fucking person on the show is a champion. Everyone. They're all champions.
Bandito didn't even have his ROH title last night.
Yeah, he is the ROH World Champion.
Allegedly.
They're all the champion. When everyone's a champion, no one feels like a champion. So, but this international title match is a banger. Like, this match is going to be awesome. I'm a big fan of triple threat matches. You know, I know that some people they can be a little formulaic. I get it. Like, people get knocked out of the ring. You get a lot of one-on-one stuff and all that. But I think, especially with the right people, like, triple threat matches can be incredible. And, like, with these three guys, it's going to be total non-stop action. But in AEW, and and honestly, because they changed the title so much, it does make it less predictable. Because Okada's obviously been very it's very clear that he's talking about keeping the title in the Don Callis family, because he's talking about winning the title for himself, obviously. And Takeshita, longtime member of that group, and has history with both those guys. So it all makes total sense. I just thought this is funny.
Yeah.
Zeno, Parker, and Trench reuniting with Swerve. Bro, I forgot until last night when they mentioned that Gates of Agony was in that group also. It was afterwards technically, but remember, because it was like the Mogul Embassy when they all united after Parker, Bordeaux, and Trench. Trench was, for people who don't know, Trench was just some baseball player with face tats that no one had ever seen before, or had no wrestling experience, and just somehow wound up on the show in this. Remember, didn't Rick Ross start this group?
Yeah, Rick Ross was part of it.
I'm just I'm being unzipped. It's all coming back to me. I haven't even thought about Trench in who knows how long, but I knew who you're talking about.
They should bring him back just for the bit.
They should. You should ask the next time you get Tony Khan for another interview. You got to go deep and ask him about what was that all? What was the mindset behind the whole Trench thing that you tried doing? That'd be so funny to do an interview with someone like that, where they have all these great things they've done. AEW is awesome. I love it, but to focus on something that's stupid. Anyways, who do you think is going to win the match?
The triple threat match?
Yeah.
Kind of leaning towards Okada.
Do you think Okada's making a full-on babyface turn?
No, I think Fletcher's turning babyface.
Fletcher. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because because I also could see them. I know they're going to be very pragmatic, or however you'd say it, in how when they do it. But I do think they're going to do Omega versus Okada again at some point, and it would make more sense if Omega's a babyface and Okada's still a heel when they do it. I think so. Yeah, I think Okada will probably win too. I prefer them to have longer title reigns, but that's just, once again, a whole other conversation in itself about the belts. So, I think storyline wise, though, if there was no belt involved in this match, I would say Okada based on the storyline. And since there is a title on the line, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with them, because I think Okada just does make the most sense right now to win that match. But I'm glad they officially announced it last night, and I think it makes all the sense in the world. And All In's the biggest show of the year for AEW, and this is a match worthy of being on that show for sure.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a huge match. And looking at this card, right now, there's really no misses on it. And I haven't loved the build to every single thing, but once they all get in the ring, I can't imagine this stuff just not delivering.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Kenny and Osprey. By the way, everyone, we should have a guest joining us pretty soon, so we'll probably just talk AEW until he arrives. But I mean, obviously, I mean, how do you feel about that? I like the story, but like, what do you feel about like Kenny's like monologue last night at Will? Like,
I thought Kenny was good. I don't need Don Callis family stuff. Just like being part of this, but I guess I just don't know what else to do with the Kenny and Will stuff. So it's like, hey, we got to keep making Will seem like he's kind of an idiot, and Kenny telling him like, hey, you're kind of an idiot. So I'm gonna beat some sense into you at All In. And Will is almost trying to like talk himself into like, no, I know what I'm doing type of thing, but he keeps being an idiot at every turn.
Yeah, that's accurate. You know, I mean, most of what Kenny was talking about last night was like all the people that Kenny warned him not to trust, he trusted. And now Kenny's, you know, he's had his back, but Will's like, I didn't want your back, bruv. And it's like, well, you should be pretty grateful because you're getting your ass kicked by all those guys. You know, Kenny did come out and save your ass.
Yeah, he was losing to the Don Callis C team out there. Like, come on,
dude, he was getting beat up by Rocky Romero. That's about as low as it gets on the AEW totem pole, unfortunately. And Trent Beretta, who I'm a big Trent Beretta fan. I thought they were going to go somewhere with Trent when they he thought he was going to be a part of their team a few weeks back, or you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They thought he was going to be part of the Forbidden Door team.
That was it. Yeah. And he like stepped up and they like pushed him aside and he seemed kind of annoyed. I thought maybe they were going to do something, but now, I mean, yeah, the B team or whatever you just called it is very much like the Putty Patrol, like the Power Rangers, where like these guys come out and they just come out and just take bumps. At least they're on the show still. I mean, good for them for, you know, I mean, they have AEW is a humongous roster, and like to get on Dynamite on a regular basis is, you know, I joked, you know, it's as low as it gets. You know, Rocky Romero's out there kicking your ass on the show, but I'm only saying that because Rocky Romero's been positioned on AEW where like we never see. Has he ever won a singles match in AEW? You know what I mean? Like that's on AEW.
Yeah, I feel like he might have gotten one on like Rampage. You know, like
yeah, maybe
they might have gotten him one there. Let's look this up and see. So we're just doing singles matches, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many matches he's won, period. But yeah, singles matches specifically, I really don't know if we'll find one. Where he won.
Yeah, it's looking rough. He won on Dark.
That doesn't count.
That's all. He won his first match in AEW that he ever had on Dark Elevation. He beat JD Drake, and he has not won a singles match on television since then. He won on the Jericho Cruise, but that didn't air, so we're not going to count that one.
Right.
Yeah, that's it though. He's only won on Dark. I'm pretty sure you can like look up records and stuff. Very interested to see like what his AEW record is. It can't be good. It can't be good.
It might be. Yeah, it might be the worst in the whole company. Now that I think about it, and for someone because he's like been there for a while, you know, it's
right? Not
like a one and done. There's something to be said about the longevity. I know he gets along with people, and he's been a liaison with like New Japan and stuff. All these, you know what I mean? Like, there's value. You know what I mean? I'm not trash talking the guy. It's just like when you think about it, I'm like, this guy's been in the company for years. He's never won a singles match, and he's out here kicking your ass, and you're salty that your boy Osprey or that your boy Omega saved you, and you're asking by that guy. You know, like, he helps you out, man.
So this counts for everything. This counts tag team matches. It counts non-televised stuff like the Jericho Cruise. He's 20-57 in AEW.
So he's won tag matches with Trent probably.
Yeah. He loses 73% of the time.
Checks out. Sounds about right. There's also a predetermined form of entertainment where no one's really winning or losing at the end of the day. So it is what it is. Okay, let's bring on our guest. You ready to bring on our guest, Jeremy?
Yeah, you set it up.
All right, everyone. We got a returning guest. I mean, the main returning guest, someone who's here pretty often with us. I've known him for a very long time.
co-host.
basically the third mic here on the Spotlight. Very appreciative of his time. Always cool joining us pretty last minute, too. I hit him up last night. He was willing to jump on with us. And you know him as a jack of all trades across the world of independent professional wrestling. But right now, most people probably know him as one of the main voices of Game Changer Wrestling. We have our good, close, personal, longtime friend, Jumpin' Johnny Mosley, a.k.a. Mose. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up,
Hey,
buddy?
you guys can hear me?
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. I'm
You're
always
not driving.
afraid.
You're not driving, are you?
No.
Okay.
Hold on. Haley's driving.
Haley.
There's
Okay.
Hey, Haley.
verification that I'm not doing both.
All right.
Tell
Thank
Haley
you.
I say hello.
Hello
said
from
hi.
Jensen. Yeah, hello from the crew. She got drunk with Jensen a couple times at SUP for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and also, it's always great to see her when y'all have been at Hammerstein at Center Stage in Atlanta. So, yes, good to see y'all. Man, I was just thinking about it before you jumped on here that I don't think we've had you on here since
It's about a month and a half.
But backyard wrestling hadn't happened yet, right? I don't think the 4th of July weekend had happened the last time we had Mose on. Right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think
we've talked because I wanted to talk to you about the 4th of July weekend a little bit. That's where I wanted to start.
Yes.
Everyone knows if anyone knows anything about me, I'm all about the Minnesota Vikings, Cody Rhodes, and Joey Chestnut eating hot dogs, right? And the 4th of July is kind of a big. I love that whole kind of weekend or that stretch of days where I can just rely on being able to go to Kroger, which is a supermarket, in the South, if people don't know, and maybe more places, I don't know, but Kroger. I go to Kroger. They grill up racks of ribs for like $8 at Kroger on the 4th of July, and I go up there and I get my ribs, and I come back home and I watch Joey Chestnut do his thing, and I watch GCW. That's like my big thing. Is like I love doing that for these holidays. And this year, you guys had the ballpark, and then you had backyard wrestling. Firstly, I want to ask you about the ballpark experience, but then I wanted to deep dive a little bit more on some of the things I saw during backyard wrestling because I was highly entertained by that whole weekend. What was it like for you being a part of all of that?
I mean, the sickest ever because I'm a big baseball fan. And just, I guess, the experience that comes with being a part of GCW is such it's just a different ride than kind of what I did for such a long time. So now it's super cool, man. Like we were in the visitor, locker room. So like, we're just all this, like there were water everywhere and man, like, just walk around the stadium. Like no one stops me. Like I just, I wear a GCW hat or a shirt and no one ever stops me. Like all these cool venues, I just wander around sometimes by myself. So that was really sick. Like Matt Baruso showed me the home locker room, and then I ran into Max Recon, just kind of doing the same thing. Like, oh, no one's stopping me, and security's super nice. So it was sick just to walk around, the park, and like I was hitting my vape pen out in the outfield, like center field was super cool. And then calling the show with Veda. I have a really good time working with Veda. Veda like knows everything, like has been a part of GCW for how long now. So it's super easy for me when Veda's in there and I just kind of get to goof with the fellas and maybe, cut up a little bit here and there. The Janelle and Nick Gage match sticks out. Like that felt very GCW, but still in this, world of the baseball field. Like they had we had something with a golf cart. I think Gage came in with it, and then Joey tried to use it, and Gage started yelling at the cat driving. Like, I thought we were cool, man. Like, what? Why would you drive for him now? That was awesome. It was just fun, man. Like you're saying, now the leaving the ballpark was a whole other experience. Like, super packed, Coney Island, 1 million people there, fireworks, and then there was a shooting. Like, easily, I want to say 5 or 6 people maybe got shot that night. Like, not too far. I didn't know
about that. Oh wow!
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like I saw. So shout out to Goat again, Haley, who was going to deal with all that to pick me up. Like she was like, "Yo, I'll come. I'm gonna get you. I'll go around parking, whatever." I know it's bad. By the time I get out of the stadium to find her, I get a message that says, "I'm never doing this again." I was like, all right, sick. I got to find her ASAP. And about that time, I look up and I just remember seeing like paramedics running and like people, running. And all right, I'm usually one to like mind my own business because like I want you to mind your business if I'm doing something stupid. So about that time, though, I decided I gotta gander over. So I look over, man, and it's just like, people being loaded in ambulances and it's just there's nowhere to go. Everything's stopped and she passes me as I'm trying to get in, like I see, okay, cool. She goes, hey, I'm picking you up right where I dropped you off. And I'm right by there, right? So I go to walk over there. About that time, I look to my left and I notice through all this, chaos, this dude has just been sitting, holding his horn down for I don't even know how long, minutes. There's nowhere to go, right? Ambulances everywhere, there's nowhere. And he's just holding this horn down. So, as is tradition, the person in the car next to him rolls the window down, and before they could even say something like, hey, man, like, hey, guy, this guy just stares them in the eyes and starts screaming nonsense at them while still holding the horn down. So, me being a pro, immediately get in the car to Haley, and I'm like, I don't care what laws you have to break. We need to get off this island now. Thankfully, she was ready to just cut corners. We found this alley and cut an alley, and then it was really sick. As somebody that grew up, I grew up out in the country in Tennessee, like I didn't have neighbors. So in the middle of all this, I'm noticing like the teenagers and like people are skateboarding and kind of meeting up to like, the little hangout spot, and like I was like, damn, that's got to be cool, bro. Like I had to drive 30 minutes to hang out with a buddy, and y'all are like, there's chaos going down, and y'all are just, chilling on the stoop, having a couple drinks, man. Like, so all in all, it was a lot of fun at Coney Island. Very stressful exit.
I'm glad you're okay after all of that, because it sounds very stressful. It doesn't sound great. Jensen, do you have
worth it?
Do you have any more about the ballpark stuff? Because I was going to move to the backyard wrestling.
Oh yeah, I can definitely talk about backyard wrestling.
Okay.
Moses' video starting a little choppy. You were super clear for. Oh yeah, that'll count.
I'm heading towards Virginia, so that could explain it.
Oh, where are you at now?
I hear you. Okay, fine.
We are. I'm on the other side. Well, the Virginia side of Knoxville. We're heading about. I don't know. 6 or 7 more hours tonight, and then we'll drive whatever the 3 or 4 to. We're staying, right there in AC for the weekend. So, like grand total 12. We got 6 more tonight.
Nice, nice. The video, everything is clearer now too. You actually have better reception driving around than most of the time when you're chilling in that where you live, where it's just bad.
Yeah,
reception.
No, it is at home. I'm not joking. If I'm not with my phone at the right spot, I may not, I've got 5 Brett Eisen messages I've missed because I'm like, damn, I have to move my phone to the left.
Oh, nice. Well, shout out Brett Eisen. Always good.
Yeah, always.
That name. Best, in my opinion, the best Bone Storm champion in the history of Southern Underground Pro. So, but okay, so moving on to backyard wrestling a little bit here. This isn't even a question really so much as I just wanted you to know one of my favorite things of the year is backyard wrestling. I always look forward to it. And this year in particular, there were a couple things that really stood out to me. One was, and I can't even remember who it was, and it pains me that I can't remember who it was. It was definitely whoever was wrestling KJ Orso. Whoever went for the shooting star press off the trampoline didn't make it far enough, and Scorpion on the trampoline. That was some good stuff. And then Sam Stackhouse just Rikishi driver. But the thing that really stood out the most, my favorite thing of all backyard wrestling, was Jimmy Lloyd versus Louis. I've been talking about this match a lot since it happened. This is Emanon, the version of Jimmy Lloyd, Emanon, and they implemented the drill dough. And I thought that was some of the most entertaining backyard wrestling that I've ever seen. And then the post-match interview was just as special because Jimmy is getting interviewed by Brett Lauderdale right after the match, and Brett's asking him what that dick tastes like, right? And Jimmy's like, no. He makes sure to stop him on the spot. He's like, no. I did not taste that dick. Ask Lucky Louie and ask the referee how that dick tastes, because that went straight from their ass right to their mouth. Not only did I not take any dick, I got the W. And then Brett's like, you would take the dick though, right? And he's like, no comment. And then walks away. And I was like, to think of that on the spot, as ridiculous as it was, I was laughing so hard. Because he did like in serious interview describing exactly what did just happen in that match. That's not even to mention, at one point he's like shooting off fireworks, thinks it's over, and just like throws it out of the ring, and the fireworks just start going into the crowd. I was like, this is the best. So what's it like being a part of these shows? And it's a secret location, so it's literally like invite only. What's that whole experience like, being in the backyard and just like the crazy shit that you're watching happening in front of you?
Well, I've been lucky enough. I think this was my third or fourth backyard. First, I've been a part of the team, but thankfully, I had been a part in some fashion, because to work and like, even with a show like Backyard, we know we're all having fun here. It's still something like we want to do a good job, like a good job for what it is. So like, I'm trying, and Brett does it. Brett Lauderdale commentary is maybe one of my favorite things on the planet. That's one of the beauties of getting to be a part of it more and more, is like Brett, has gotten to know me. He's got to know me this last year. So him hopping on like the Janela show a week or two ago, there's some great bits in there. Just Brett Lauderdale commentary about the combat chairs. So Brett's commentary on 4th of July or whatever, Backyard Weekend, my God, there are so many, like the Janela match, like when it cuts from the video to the
my
match.
God, I forgot all about the North Korea propaganda.
Yes,
oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, that was so funny.
I have that saved on my phone, and I watch it when I have a bad day, because Ash, I want to shout out Jonathan Ash, our producer. The cut. Now, I can't tell you how much Ash does in the moment, because I think it's everything. Like, I've genuinely seen Ash been given videos, raw videos, and edit them while, we're streaming live, and he's getting video set up and banners and graphics, the lower thirds, and he'll edit on the spot. And so the fact that we have video and then it cuts to like Joey stabbing him in the head, and then you've got Brett going, "No, what's this in my ear? Is it right? What's going on?" I can't stress how, if anyone has not seen the match Jensen was talking about, the Jimmy and then that Joey match, the commentary, the post show, and then see the pre-show stuff is what you don't like. The pre-match before the main, I believe that was too hot for television. I don't think that made it on any streaming, because there were some, we'll call them some real shoot interviews with some of the local backyard clientele, and man, there were some words and some thoughts shared before Mr. J and Lil Skittle almost killed each other, that if you were there, you understood why the emotion was ramped up. It's a fever dream. I don't know what to, like. It's like you're just in this. We're in like a field, and there's like 911's there, and he shows up in the middle of Atom's entrance. That's also a great moment where Big Vin has to run over to be like, "This is the entrance, man. I need you to could you just scoot back a little?" While Atom is patiently waiting for his entrance. You don't know what you're going to get. You absolutely have no idea what you're going to get there. Then the Equalizer, didn't he just pass from ECW? He was there hanging out. I got to meet the Equalizer like a week or two before he passed. Like, the backyard.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. That's all. I wish I could have seen and heard what went down before that main event, because there's a long history between those two, and it did all culminate, the main event that night. The North Korean for the North, but that's the edit you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about in the Janela match, because I was laughing so hard, because literally you see them wrestling. It cuts to North Korean propaganda for like a minute or so. And then the next thing you see of live wrestling, the dude's got like gusset plates in his head and he's literally getting stabbed and like dude's just bleeding all over the place.
And Janela's got his crazed like Janela face out of nowhere. It's art. Like it's art.
Oh my God. Anyway, Jeremy, what do you got?
Of course it would be Joey who does all of that, by the way, because I mean that's exactly what Joey is going to do. Talk to us about speaking of Joey, the 20th anniversary show for Joey.
Again, man, super fun. Like that was my first time at the House of Independence. Very cool venue. I mean, very like it was cool having where we were for commentary, that varies about every show. They were like the fans were kind of above and like behind me a little bit and to the side. So like, during the speech with Joey and Brett and Just Incredible and like all this really cool stuff's going down, I'm able to kind of sit there and I'm just looking around and like seeing all these fans that are, whether you're a fan of Joey, just Joey, which, in Asbury Park, Jersey as a whole, like Joey's the guy there. Like everybody knows Joey. Joey knows everybody there. So whether it's Joey or just wrestling or whatever, Just Incredible, who I got to meet. And, I'm at that age too. I'm about the same age as Joey, I guess. Like I was about his age when Just Incredible was the man, on ECW. And I was like, God, I hate him. And I just hate his face. And if I ever get a chance to slap him in the face, I'm going to do it. And then I met him and found out, he was, I think, just over a year sober now. So as someone too, I've had my issues in the past, like that was really cool to shake his hand and congratulate him on that and have a moment again, just full circle of like, like I used to I would just cuss you in my living room every night. Just Incredible is terrible. I hate him. And I got to, see that moment with Joey and hear like how Joey's mom used to babysit Just Incredible's kids, I believe was the thing we found out, like the connection there. Like Joey met him when he was like 9 or 10. And it's just like being a part of that, you know what I'm saying? Like Jensen, I know you know me since the Sup days. Like it's like those are the things that are the coolest for me. I love my job. I love talking. I love putting the best job I can for the wrestlers, but like just as a fan, like that was. And then the moment with Crowbar, he got his Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame plaque. Like again, young me, like watching WCW Crowbar, like that's just a really cool full circle moment. And I got to thank Joey and GCW and Emil and everybody that, Veda couldn't be there because of their schedule. Is just, anybody that keeps up with Veda, Veda's everywhere. So to be able to, be a big part of that show and have my voice on it, very special. Cause again, like I was such a fan of Joey's wrestling before I ever met him and all that. So fun. I mean, vibes were up. It just felt very like, just kind of like a victory lap, for Joey and having so many people so close to him and all the BS he's been through. And again, someone that, a lot of people kind of think about his antics and, maybe some stuff he did when he wasn't the best version of himself, but like everything Joey's give his body, his heart, his soul to professional wrestling. And now to see the best maybe version of Joey, clean and can appreciate and all that. Like it's just it's such a cool night that it was one of those, like, I just really didn't want it to end. We were getting ready, like we got to go. And I'm like, damn, man, do we got to go? Like, this is just vibes are so up tonight.
We had Joey on the other show a day before.
I did. I watched some of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, loved it.
Joey was. Did you see the end of it where he was?
I did.
Okay, I did. Then you know what I'm talking about.
I almost labeled myself Sabrina Carpenter today as a callback, but I didn't.
Yeah, Joey was doing his Chris Jericho impression, and that was something else when it comes to that. But Joey, yeah, he's so creative, he's so funny,
yes.
And he definitely just does not get the credit, especially from like mainstream fans who are only going to talk about WWE and AEW and stuff. Like, I don't think they realize just how much Joey has influenced even that part of the industry, but certainly like the independent scene, and then all the connections that guy has.
Yeah.
Like it's really like 6 degrees of separation with Joey. You can tie so much just back to him in some way. So yeah, watching that event and knowing kind of the stuff that was coming after talking to him, like it was just really cool to see him like really get his flowers with everything.
Yeah, I think Brett said it the best. I genuinely love Joey. Just anytime I've been around him, man, he's been great to me. But Lauderdale said it best, man. Joey is somebody that has got to live his dream. So now he's trying to help that next gen live their dream. And I mean, that's the first thing I was taught when I, broke in was leave the business better than you found it. And I don't, from where I sit, Joey's left it a lot better, than when he found it.
For sure.
I remember, I can't remember the exact year, but it had to have been like 2018 or something. It was during, SUP was new, it was a new company. And I remember Joey doing the SCI in Chattanooga and then driving to like Jersey or something. Then literally that night wrestling the next day in like another part of the country, and then driving all the way back down to Nashville the next day to be on the SUP show so we could do the Love to Hunt, Love to Fish. Chris Salian's got a tiny ass dick. Like that was that show.
For real.
Yeah,
and that's a moment that's really important to SUP looking back on it.
Exactly. And him being a part of that show. I remember talking to Righteous Jesse before the show, like I think during because I was doing the Fight Talk podcast back then, and I was interviewing him, and I remember him telling me like off the record at the time, he was like, dude, I think we're gonna be able to get Joey Janela for a show. And I was like, really? Like that was when I was like, SUP's like gonna be for real. Like if you can get Joey on board, like in the he knows, like start coming in and stuff, like this could be a real, because SUP was so new, no one knew what it was going to be. Everyone then was still saying like a super indie isn't going to work in Nashville and all this stuff. And it was like Joey being on board, I think helped legitimize the brand really early on. So, I mean, I've always, even from just that, I've always been a Joey Janela guy. So sure.
Without a doubt, I can, from living down here, I can tell you, like even small town Tennessee where I was living at the time, that moment was like people were talking, that didn't even really know about SUP yet or indie wrestling. They were talking about this crazy Joey video and all that. So, I mean, I'm glad I thank you for bringing it up, because that's one, anytime we talk about SUP, I feel like we forget that a little bit, the infamous Joey Janela sing-along.
Yeah, there was like eras. It was like figuring out kind of what the company was era. And then it was kind of into like the Guarini era, and then like Marco got super over, and then it was like Brett, and then it was just like a stretch of like Brett's the man who could take down Brett, and then AC Mack, like that was a cool moment, but then like the pandemic happened, and it just felt like everything that should have happened between like Action and SUP and like all this stuff they could have done just wound up not being able to happen because of the pandemic. That all said, I obviously I think of those days very fondly. And a guy that I know that you've been a fan of for a long time, that we talked about years and years ago, is someone that we both thought was going to be a GCW champion World Day and currently is Atticus Cogar. We got Homecoming coming up, and Atticus has this big match against Joseph Sawyer. Obviously everyone knows him as Joe Gacy, and I saw the promo video that Atticus put up, I think it was today on Twitter, him talking about him being like just fascinated and like basically loved Bray Wyatt and wanted to be in the Wyatt family, and him and Otis like were all about the Wyatts, and like Joe Gacy got to live his dream. The Cogar brothers used the pig as like their symbol. This guy wore a pig mask with Bray Wyatt, and I was like, dude, this is great. Like this is I've always thought Atticus was a very he's very different, very believable, but this extra layer of storytelling since he's become the champion, and especially this going into Homecoming, I think it's really some of the best stuff he's done from a character perspective. And I just want to get your thoughts on kind of this match coming up at Homecoming, and then also of course the Joe Gacy coming in and of course Atticus being the champion, everything he's done.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of Atticus. I know I couldn't tell you exactly how long ago I met him. The one that's had the presence, always the promos, the thoughtfulness is always there. His gear, feels like every match, right? It's different gear with different meanings, and And it's just that extra level that he brings. And I think he's somebody, too, that doesn't get enough credit for the theatricality, man, the production that is Atticus Coker, or just Vandal 48 as a whole at this point, because, Napier just put out some heat. Otis has been putting out heat with his videos. You've been seeing a little different sides of I want to say it was was it the match with the Pillars a few months ago, but it was the Step Brothers promo they did. That was hilarious that, you got to see kind of Otis be a little funny and Atticus kind of like riff with him a little bit. So I couldn't be a bigger fan of Atticus. I think he brings such a thoughtfulness. And you're seeing it, again, spread out through the crew. And I totally agree. This video he put out today, it was, you could feel it the last few months building of some, we knew Homecoming was going to be big. And then with Minnesota going the way it did, this match feels very like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I know GCW has changed, right? All these over the years, so it's not old GCW of like that, just grit and grime. It is that, but it's there this personal level to it, and still that high production that Joseph Sawyer will bring. I'm excited to see what they do because of that setting as well, right? We're at the Showboat. It's Homecoming weekend, man. We just keep raising the bar on every bit of this matchup. I think they're going to get something special. I want to say that's night one, right? I think that's night one main event, which, again, anytime we do a Homecoming, man, I know last year, right, we started off, we had, Cardona and Gage, and there was, like, surprise, I think, Cross showed, I don't know.
Yeah,
Cross showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened on the first day, so now we know, right? I mean, no surprise needed on this one. It's what a lot of the fans have wanted. The videos have been there. I expect Atticus who have already raised that game in the ring, I expect him to be at the very tippy top. And the same for Sawyer, man, because of what this means at GCW, his links to Jersey. I believe, right, he's not far from AC. Like, this is a home game for Joseph Sawyer. So there's a lot that goes into all of this, and that's before how personal it is for Atticus on this run.
Speaking of Otis, also another match that I know we don't have time to go through the whole card, but just like to highlight some stuff. I think I saw it announced maybe yesterday, but Otis is defending the Ultraviolent title against Anakin Murphy.
Correct.
As someone who's seen Anakin from like Chattanooga, and his career trajectory, like, what's it like? Because he got very over very quickly. I mean, that happened in the TWE arena also. It happens kind of everywhere, but like his rise in GCW very quick. It's a big stylistic matchup. Otis, obviously, like, no more credible person than Otis for the Ultraviolent scene and that title and everything. So, what can people expect, I guess, out of this matchup? And what do you feel? You obviously just talked a bit about Otis, but it kind of to maybe people who may not be as familiar with Anakin.
Yeah, Anakin, he also, there's some bad blood there too, right? He and the Cogers have been into it. He just had a really gnarly match with Napier. So Anakin and the Vandals, he got attacked, I believe, in New Hampshire, and we're still not sure what all's been going. Like, there's just a lot going on around Anakin with Vandal 48. So I do think that Anakin, who already makes it very clear every match prepared, right? This could be the last one. Death Wish. Has the unsigned and don't care, that stamp of approval, which shout out Gary J real quick. I know Aaron Williams, also the third member of unsigned and don't care. All three, I believe, will be together against the Vandals coming up in the Midwest. But anytime you have the stamp from a Gary J, from an Aaron like Anakin does, he's tough, but it's different tough, right, when we're talking GCW and the style of death match that GCW brings, but also the miles, man. Like, these weekends, like, I could say, we've been running the roads really hard, loosely since 2017, but really since 2020, just going. And this last year with GCW, it's the quickest year, I swear, of my life, man. Like, it just, and I'm just talking. So the beat up, the cuts, all that Anakin goes through. And as you guys, you're out there, he's in there. He's always or usually, the underdog. He's got a absolute machine in Otis Coger, who that title means so much, right? When he won that title back, he made it very clear to me with a little bit I've tried to talk to Otis before a show to try to get where his head's at of just how much that title means to him. And I think with all that, again, Anakin's going to have to, like, I know he can dig deep. We've seen it, but going to have a little something extra because Otis right now, man, since he's cut that weight and become a champion, right? It's one thing to feel like you're a champion. It's another to wear that title for a stretch, beating good talent, maybe with some help from your friends, but still, retain the title. A very dangerous Otis Cogar coming into Atlantic City for sure.
Oh, sorry, Jensen.
I didn't know if you had a question, Jerry, but
I actually wanted to go back to Joseph Sawyer and Gacy. Did you have interactions with Gacy before, like pre-WWE stuff?
No, actually, the first time I met him, honestly, was in Minnesota, and it was after like the show. It was a very quick hello. I obviously heard about him not been a fan, and all of friends of friends are like, oh, he's such a that reputation speaks for itself. But no, it was literally the first time. I think the first time I saw him live was when the lights came up in Minneapolis. Which that was such a crazy moment to happen at like 3 or 4 o'clock on the afternoon. But it's a different energy, man. Like I've heard about Gacy and obviously seen him, but there is a little different energy, man, when you feel him in the arena there. So again, I'm very, very excited to see, one-on-one, no surprises. Let's meet. Well, what that energy is going to feel like for real.
Okay. We've had you for about a half hour now, Mose. We always appreciate your time. I got one more question for you. I don't know if Jeremy has any left, and you don't have to go into this if you don't want to. Okay.
Okay. I know what you're gonna say.
You're at these GCW shows, right? And there's been a lot of public discourse about a very particular incident at a I don't even call it an incident because that makes it sound too extreme. There's
the incident.
Yeah. Okay, what's your take? Should this kid have just fucking grabbed the chairs, or like, where do you stand on this? Like, where are we? Because I honestly, to be completely honest, I see both sides of this argument. We and Jeremy are going to talk about it private, or we'll talk about it on air after you're gone too, and give our thoughts. But as somebody who is in GCW and you have paid, I have not. I mean, I've known you a long time now, and I know you have paid a lot of dues in indie wrestling. You have done a lot of things. You have drove a lot of miles. I mean, you're driving right now. You're doing stuff on the fly. How do you feel about this whole Avery Styles, like paying dues, being second generation, all this kind of stuff? How do you feel about this? Or do you want to stay out of it completely? Because that's totally fine too.
No, I've not said anything on the Twitter machine or internet as a whole about all this because I feel like my opinion may not be, I don't know, people may hate it, people may hate whatever, but like as someone that has set up multiple rings, as someone that has set up chairs, though it was pretty sick at TWE. Chairs are already set up, baby. Ring is already set up. Those don't go anywhere. It's pretty sick. I think Tank made a post saying, that's why I only work TWE now. I don't have to worry about any of this. Me personally, and I see both sides. I have no disrespect to anybody involved. I didn't care because I think everybody has a different journey in wrestling. I think that, it's a hectic days, and I think this is a young man who's, 19, that maybe in his 4 or 5 matches maybe hasn't had an experience quite like what maybe was unfolding with him with all that. I think, a lot of people would have loved to have seen him, hop in there and do whatever. But from my perspective, and again, I was there, but I didn't know. The craziest thing is, like, I didn't know if there was any bad energy until that day on Twitter. You know what I mean? And I was there in the locker room, like the kids over there calling his match, and he's nervous, and he's maybe doing a little pre-tape here and there. So I can't say to what happened. I know people are upset. Again, like you said at Jensen, I think people, opinions on both sides. My opinion is, if it's a GCW show, I will happily put some chairs up as someone that talks and doesn't have to wrestle, holler at me. I will happily help out. I let the fellas know after that, like, hey, I shout out Manders real quick. Manders did set up chairs. I don't know if that may have got lost in the shuffle, but Manders, the dog, happily to get in there, as a vet and set some chairs up. I think it's okay to maybe, if you're upset about it, okay, but remember, it's a kid who's living a different life. That maybe before that weekend he maybe didn't think he knew anything about, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And on top of it, I mean, Manders also might be making the most pounds and traveling the most distance of any wrestler on the whole roster and still doing that. So, I mean, that also goes to, I understand your point of bringing up Manders. I point taken there.
It's true, right? We dues or whatever, all that. Yes, it's true. I love a crew but it's also different too for us at GCW, because most of the time, right, we kind of have a setup or this or that. What also gets lost in all this is that venue, they never do chairs. Like, unless I'm mistaken, they always have standing room only. So chairs in that venue are very rare. So this is a problem that I don't think ever really is a problem. So, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like a lot of things coming together that maybe, didn't need to be talked about for 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I get that too. I mean, like, it's honestly crazy that like this conversation even blew up as much as it did. It's just, we have that rare, relationship with you where like I know you're in the building, so it's like I might as well ask.
Yes,
everyone's talking about it.
I can tell you on our side, vibes were up. None of there was no bad talk of everybody. Anyone that saw the match the kid had a great match, right? So I think some emotions and some, old school thoughts and all that's totally fine. But yeah, it just felt like a perfect storm of maybe issues that normally wouldn't be a problem, and they became, I guess, a problem. I don't know.
I think Emil had the most base take I think I've seen on it, where he talked about like the real issue is like when you got to go take chairs during the show because no one filled the house. Like that's the real embarrassment. Like,
You're right. I would love to shout out MLJ on the way out, because MLJ's tweets are amazing. Anyone that doesn't follow Emil, you're screwing up bad. And that was the one. And I want to thank him real quick, because this is my 1 year with the crew. Homecoming last year was when I, officially kind of became a part of the crew, at least to get me here. So shout out to MLJ, man, for thinking of me and giving me, that message. So that's a great way to end that. A shout out to Emil. Because listen, without Emil, I wouldn't have been able to hang out and have a really good time in Minnesota.
There you go. Well, we got to get Emil on again with you again sometime.
Yes, you do. That was just Emil at all, bro. Emil's the man.
Yeah, I felt bad last time because he was like trying to watch like that vault like show that just like premiered, and he was like trying to like watch it, and we kept him long, but he was having a good time and like told us we can keep going.
He's a yapper, you know what I'm saying? Just like me. That's why we get along. He can say I want to watch the vault, which he does, but he wants to yap too, buddy.
Yeah, he's the man. You guys both rule. I'm very happy for both your success. I love hearing your guys' voice in the booth for GCW, really anywhere, but I mean GCW especially, because I know you worked really hard for a long time to get this spot, and it's not an easy. It's like a spot that wasn't even open, really. I mean, like I don't know when they found you, if they were like looking for a commentator. I think you had been putting in the work and showing up, and you have good relationships with the people that trust you, that they gave you opportunities. It's just it. You earned opportunities, and you made the most of those opportunities. So. Yeah,
I know you guys got to move on. Let me just say this real quick, because what you said, absolutely right. Back to this dues and chair, and just to pinpoint all that. Yes, happily have moved chairs. I've toured rings down. I've done all that. Along with that, what got me here was what you just said, right? Being a good team player, working with everybody, right? Trying to be the best show we can do, because I love what I do, but I know I'm a great team player. I love being on a team. So anyone that's sitting around going, how do I get to wherever you're trying to get? Do the work, be a good partner, be a good team player, bring good energy, man. And it literally, like, I just got a text message from Emil saying, hey, we need you at homecoming. And I did well. and the rest is just kind of history. So yeah, chase that dream, do the right things, man, and just when opportunity knocks, swing, man. Answer the call and just swing. That's all you can do.
And this guy's a team player. He's a team player for life. He's got KOBK on his knuckles. Okay, so he is when he's in, he's in. So
that's in,
I appreciate it. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Big Dave, KOBK. I saw that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so thank you for that. I meant to let off of that, and I got chit chatting. Happy birthday, Big Dave.
Oh, we gotta get Big Dave a cake for the cake walk now.
Yeah,
please get Big Dave on here at any point to talk to you guys. That guy has got some.
He was fantastic.
Oh, we had him on, but it's been a while. It's been a
bring
while.
him. He's been cooking. I don't know if y'all have been keeping up this summer, man. He's had some really good matches, but he's been a little better shape. So yeah, shout out Big Dave. Happy birthday, big man.
Hell yeah, good stuff. Mose, obviously, plug anything you like to plug.
Yeah, this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, GCW Homecoming. Saturday, I believe, is 8 Eastern. Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then we've got about a month off before we're in Denver, Colorado on September 11th. And then the UCC September 12th. But Homecoming this Saturday, Sunday, whatever, August 15th, 16th. Thank you guys so much. GC Dub.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Good seeing you,
Thanks, guys.
As always.
Yeah, have a safe trip. Have a safe trip and have a good weekend.
Happy homecoming to everybody. Always great to see Mose. We always say Mose and Cole Ryder. Those are like our two third mic guys. So that's like. By the way, Cole slows me his pants. I gotta hit him up. Hey, that's the no. Give me your pants, bro. No homo, but give me your pants. You know what I mean? I've never asked a man for his pants before, but I'm trying to get Cole's pants. I love talking to Mose, great guy, and I'm not just gassing him up when he's on the show. I've talked about it for years. I'm very happy to see his success and where he's at, and it always warms my heart when I hear him on commentary, especially for GCW. So everyone check out Homecoming this weekend. And do you want to get into our own personal thoughts on the whole chair thing? Have you talked about that enough already this week? I don't know if you guys.
Honestly, I haven't talked as much about it. Like we talked a bit about it on Monday. We've talked a little bit about it, but since it's the topic, we just talked about it with Mose. Like, what? I'll throw it to you. Like, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Okay, I truly do see both sides of it. Like, I think you can make an argument.
Don't straddle the fence. It's bad for a boy.
Well, wait, what did you say? Straddle the fence is bad for a boy? Is that what you said?
Yeah, if you're a boy, you shouldn't straddle.
I've never heard that phrase before because your nuts will get stuck.
Yeah. My like English teacher used to say this, and it's always stuck with me. Like anytime like we didn't take a side on something, she would always say like, you shouldn't straddle the fence. It's bad, especially if you're a boy.
I like that. I don't like people who like perennially fence sit. I fence sit a bit depending on the how controversial the topic is, I guess. But obviously I go way one way or way the other depending on, if you're talking about Cody, I'm balls deep if you want to talk about, hurting yourself on a fence. But my thoughts, I'll say this. I do see both sides, but I will definitely lean more one way than the other, my personal opinion. I just want to throw both sides out there. So on one side, okay, look, I think it's just kind of a bad look in general for AJ Styles, to cope for his son publicly. I get sticking up for your son. I'm not saying that that's not okay. If I had a kid, I would stick up for him probably no matter what. I know you've got 12 kids. I know you said you love them and you would stick up for them. So I'm not saying that parents shouldn't stick up for their kids, but this Avery Styles had literally had 2 matches or 3 matches before this happened. So this is a brand new wrestler who, while impressive, has had decent him and Marcus Mathers especially. I think that, I think Avery shows a lot of talent and a lot of potential. But I also don't know, to be fair, I don't know how aggressive or how stern Eric Cannon or anybody was who interacted with Avery on the day. Were they very very clear and serious? Hey man, it'd be a really good idea if you helped out, or would they ask him a whole bunch of times, or did they just kind of throw it out there? Hey man, everyone else is helping. We can get out of here quicker if everyone helps. You know what I mean? I don't know how those interactions actually went. And as Mose said, he didn't even know there was a problem until he was gone. So obviously it wasn't an issue in the building that anyone really knew about. So that's where I kind of sympathize more on like Avery's side, because it's like, how was he really approached to do this? And did he just outright, just flat out basically say like, no, I'm not helping? Like, and you just refuse? Because that's one thing that I think I wouldn't like knowing that, you know, because you've had very few matches. You already are going to have, it's already an uphill battle in a lot of ways. I mean, it's once again, it's a blessing and a curse, you know, being second generation. You are going to have to work super, super hard to live up to your families, that, you know, the expectations people have for you because of who, especially when you're AJ Styles' kid, one of the best in-ring workers in the history of wrestling, and you're out there doing Styles clashes and stuff. Like, people are going to make comparisons. So like, that's a lot to live up to. But on the flip side, he's already hanging out in NXT. So it's like, there's obvious major advantages to it also. Is his path going to be the same as someone like Eric Cannon? Absolutely not. There's no chance Avery Styles is about to do the next 20 years on the indies like Eric Cannon. And that's no disrespect to Eric Cannon. Especially being someone who's a fan of, like, you know, Minnesota sports and, you know, the Minnesota wrestling scene and that kind of stuff. Like, Eric Cannon's been around forever. And he's very well respected, you know, and it's one of those things where even like Cody came and coped and was on AJ or Avery's side with it. And I thought that was, honestly, even as a Cody Rhodes guy, I thought that was kind of a bad look for Cody. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't think Cody helped him.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was a bad look, you know, because now you're reinforcing that kind of behavior is okay. Once again, we don't know the full extent of how this was all being approached, but at the end of the day, like Mose was saying, I feel like if I was in Avery's position, because there's also the flip side of, like, he was flown in. Most people get flown in. Yeah, but like Manders is flown. You know what I mean? Like these guys who Mose is just saying were helping out. Like, these are guys who get paid more and are proven draws in these companies long term. Avery's just started, literally. So my honest mindset, after giving all of that, is like the flip side. My honest mindset is that if anybody approached him and said anything along the lines of even just suggesting, like, hey man, everyone else is helping out, like, you know, I'd probably just grab a few chairs, man. Just look busy just for a few minutes. You know what I mean? I would have definitely just done it if I was him, because it would have avoided all of this, and you look more like a team player. And yes, you're not going to have to grind the indies probably very long. Like, he'll probably get signed to NXT or have some sort of deal with that company. Like, I bet before he's had 30 matches, he'll have some sort of contract with the WWE. Zilla Fatu probably has less than 100 matches still. You know what I mean? He's been around for like 2 years. You know, so are you looking
at Zilla? Yeah, I'm looking up to see.
I bet it's less than 100.
Yeah, you're right. It's 83 or it's 93. Yeah.
So, you know, it's pretty close to 100, but it is less than 100. I remember people talking about him going to the WWE when here's actually a pretty good example. I'm not a big fan of. Okay, so the way that Zilla exited some of these other companies, he's had history in multiple places, but I'm going to highlight GCW, where Brett publicly had to say, like, listen, man, like, we're not caving to your demands. You've had less than 20 matches, and we're booking you to beat everybody when you come in. Like, what more do you want, you know? And you just can't have. Now, that said, sometimes it works out. Zilla Fatu just got signed, and he did it his way, and he burned a lot of bridges along the way, but he also is in the right family. So he's in NXT now. You can literally say the same exact things about Avery Styles. He's already rubbing people the wrong way. He's already taking pictures at NXT. He's only had like 5 matches. He'll get signed before he's had 100 matches. I think he'll get signed before he's had 30 matches. So at the end of the day, I think he would have just done himself some favors by just probably moving some chairs around and just kind of avoiding the entire discourse.
I'm with you. I think that if he got asked, then just help out. You're right. And okay, like, what was the tone of, like, did somebody come up to him and be like, hey kid, go set up chairs? Then that's a little off-putting.
Well, depending on who it is, though. You know what I mean? If Joey Janela said, hey kid, set up chairs, like, you set up chairs. If like some guy who's is local, who's never had is his GCW debut too, and he said that it holds different weight. So it depends on who's telling you this too. Eric Cannon has enough clout where like he should be respected, especially where the show is taking place. This is like and he runs First Wrestling. Like this is a co-promoted. He's basically like the promoter, right? You know, so it's like he's asking you, and if you're not going to do it for him, this is weird. This is kind of strange to me. I wouldn't do business that way if I was him. I just think it's anyway. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy. I cut you off.
No, you're fine. Like you're right in that. Yeah, depending on who it is, Joey Janela says go set up chairs, then go set up chairs. The way I'm reading it could be wrong, but the way I'm reading it is it sounded like he was asked and he didn't do it. And that's where it's like, oh, dude, just go set up the chairs. We could have avoided all of this. Yes, his path is different. He's not going to be on the independent scene long. He's already at the Performance Center. I've already said I think he'll be signed by this time next year. I think he'll be signed within a year easily. So I understand that. But if you get asked, just go set up the chairs. And you brought up Cody, but I didn't think he helped himself because there's the photo of him like helping with the ring and sweeping and everything. And he's like, well, second generation people don't have to do this because of who their father was. And they already set up the chairs. It's like, dude, you're doing it though. So does this not apply to you? Like what? I don't get the point he was trying to make.
But the nuance to him saying it is what's weird. And I don't know if the word's weird, but like most wrestling fans probably don't realize that Cody, like he's kind of talking about himself because he's also a second generation wrestler, but he's really not because Dusty was around for Cody's life in his childhood. Like this wasn't a situation where like Dusty wasn't around. Like Dusty was at all of our high school wrestling matches. Like Dusty, I think the only time Dusty missed anything significant in Cody's life in childhood, Cody's talked about it in interviews, was the night that Dusty joined the NWO. He couldn't make one of Cody's wrestling matches, and that was it. And that stands out because of how present Dusty was in their childhoods. It was different for Dustin. But for Cody, Dusty was there. So, like, Cody still paid all of his dues and swept the ring and blah, blah, blah. But Cody's making the point for Avery of, well, AJ wasn't around, which is true. AJ's been an active wrestler this whole time. So he hasn't been around. And Avery has had to be the man of his household probably and have to take on responsibilities and maybe has, quote unquote, set up the chairs in different ways in the wrestling business. Maybe had to travel with his dad and miss this or that. Like, who knows? Who knows what has come along with him not having his dad around for a lot of his childhood. So I get that, but I think people conflate the two things because when Cody says that, I think people automatically assume, oh, well, like he went through that too. Dusty wasn't around. That isn't the case. Like Dusty was around. So I don't know why Cody why he even decided to get involved in the conversation. I know it was his picture that was making rounds, but also it was just kind of lame because like, why are you, he said literally to Eric Cannon, he's like, Eric, I like you, blah, blah, blah. But like the way he ended it with like, they already set up the effing chairs. That's like him. I think I even saw a comment. It's like, that was clearly him trying to like mic drop. And it's like, I don't think that hit how you think it does. And I think most wrestling fans don't even understand where he's coming from because Dusty was there for him, but AJ wasn't there for Avery. So anyway, that's really in a nutshell how I kind of feel about the whole thing.
Yeah, I just set up the chairs. The fact that it's gone on this long is insane to me. Like, that's insane to me. And yeah, I'm with what a lot of people have said. Like, probably should have just been handled in private. Like, should have just been a message in private, and we could have all moved on.
It could have easily. I mean, that's to be completely fair. That's also very true. I mean, all of these things can be true. It's just kind of like how you view the best course of action. But like, that's totally true too. None of this had to be public. Like, Eric Cannon could have easily approached. You could have even approached AJ if it became a problem. If he had any relationship with AJ, hey man, like just a heads up. I know you're heavily promoting your kid and getting him on these shows. Just so you know, he's not helping out, and it's not a good look. You know, like, I mean, so I mean, there's plenty of ways this could have been handled behind the scenes. Because I also feel like if AJ is going to cope for his kid publicly, people can also go to him and talk to him about his kid. So like, anyway, but anyway, I mean, Avery's going to be very successful. He's got a lot of potential. This isn't going to stop him from doing anything in wrestling. It's just a unfortunate kind of side conversation that blew up for a few days, and it's a big distraction. Speaking of, I didn't get a chance to catch it, and you don't have to give me your thoughts on this because I honestly, I mean, I guess I have my opinions, but I don't know enough about it. You were talking about Joey. Since the last time we were on the show, that whole Janela Orange Crush thing happened, and I know you interviewed Orange Crush before, and I know you interview Joey all the time.
Yeah.
When Joey came on on In the Weeds recently, did he like clarify or clear that up, or like are they still on bad terms? Like, is that just
it sounds like it.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know like if there was like a resolution to all that at the end of the day, but like I saw all that too, and that was just unfortunate. I read those text messages and stuff. I want to pull for produce because there are a lot of guys that I like, guys and girls and people of all genders are involved in produce, and they put on great shows. A lot of buzz. So I want them to be successful, but I also don't love kind of how Joey was treated based on what he was saying and what he was showing. So it was like I hated being torn on it because I want Joey to be successful. I want them to be successful. So, and you have a kind of relationship with both. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, or if you just wanted to stay completely out of that.
I mean, I talked about it. So I wasn't, as you know, like I was traveling last week. I wasn't on In the Weeds at all last week. I popped on here and there. I did sit down for the Janela interview because I kind of had to be there for that. So I was part of the entire Janela interview, but the rest of the week, I just didn't do any of the show. So I haven't like fully dove into it. My thoughts are this is probably another thing that probably should have been handled in private. And I asked Joey, him like, have you guys talked in private? So this all blew up on a Tuesday. It was last Tuesday, and he was on In the Weeds on Wednesday. So it was like 12 hours after the whole thing blew up. And yeah, I asked him like, had they talked in private? He was like, no. Maybe that's changed over the last week. No idea. But yeah, it probably could have been handled in private. I'm obviously, I know them how I know them through our interviews. That's about it. No idea what goes on elsewhere when it comes to these things. I like what Produce is doing. I think they do a good job with shows. Upsetting talent like Janela and Steph DeLander, probably not the best idea, but they also got I still have big names, and they still work with a lot of people who like they're on my AEW, and so they do have like a big platform and everything. I think it was part miscommunication, and I think it was also there was a lot of boiling underneath the surface, and so that kind of set everything off, and so that's why, again, I think it probably should have been a private matter. Talk it out, try to figure it out, that be that. But yeah, it seemed like it was a lot boiling. Janela was honest with us about everything. I don't know if it gets settled. We shall see in the coming weeks and months, and yeah, that be that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's a pretty base take on the situation. I feel like Janela probably felt like he needed to say something publicly because, and I'm just thinking out loud, obviously, but like he had a show coming up that was like Joey Janela presents Produce or whatever. Like he was like the director or whatever, so he needed people to know like I'm not involved in this anymore. Like like if you're coming for me, I'm not going to be doing this. But I completely agree that I think all of it could have been handled privately, and it probably would have been better kind of for everybody involved. But but also that's also kind of one of the great things about Joey Janela. Like that guy will speak his mind.
Yeah, like we were talking about with Mose, and like I've said to Joey, like I don't know if he gets enough credit for all of this stuff. And you're right about the speaking his mind, but like I think I think Adam does good work. I think JCW was a great promotion when it was around, and him doing Produce now, and they're off to a good start with everything. But when it comes to Joey, like Joey's gonna stand the test of time when it comes to independent wrestling. Like, people are gonna look back at what Joey did and continues to do and be like, yeah, he actually did change things for the better in independent wrestling. And I think Adam has done some good things, but Joey just kind of carries a little bit more weight on that. So hey, I like both guys. I don't have an issue with either of them. Joey's probably going to come back on In the Weeds next week and talk shit, and we'll see what happens. But Joey, we talked to Joey for like 2 hours last week. It was an insane interview. It was absolutely insane. But shout out to Joey. He's the best.
Yeah, good for you guys. Yeah, good for Joey. And like you have Adam and or Orange Crotch, whatever. Like I very much liked their work throughout the years. I give praise, especially like the last year or two. I've given a lot of praise to JCW as like being on par or better in a lot of ways than GCW with a lot of their shows. So like, I know that they're capable of great stuff, and Produce so far, like I said, has been great. They're using a lot of talent, people that we've interviewed and people I like. So yeah, I hope it works out for everybody involved. So we hadn't talked about it since it happened. I know you've interviewed both guys, so I just figured I'd get your thoughts on that.
All right, we got one more topic here. We've kind of been talking about them.
This will be a quick one. Yeah, we've already kind of given our takes on this. Hit the bumper.
I'll hit the bumper though.
Our product is what it is. We're going straight up the middle.
Zilla Fatu is NXT. He actually is keeping the name Zilla Fatu. He's not, hey, this guy is here. He attacked Grayson Waller, and hey, this guy is here from 3 weeks ago, and he is officially signed to NXT. What are your thoughts?
Yes, came out and attacked. What's it? Cruz Montana? Is that his name now? Cruz Montana.
Yeah, hey, this guy's here from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's who you were calling as Hayes, is it? Right? Because they didn't say his name until he announced his new name. Gotcha. I went over my head for a second. You're talking about Mike Santana. I love how close that sounds to Mike Santana, Cruz Montana. It's like very. Anyways, yeah. So he attacked Grayson Waller and Cruz Montana, as you mentioned, and. I said a moment ago, I was like, well, yeah, this guy got signed having less than 100 matches and has burned some bridges, and it didn't really matter at the end of the day because, he still got signed because of the family he's in. And I do also want to say, though, guys like Josh Bishop, who I really respect. Everyone knows I'm a big Josh Bishop guy, and I hope he gets signed. I hope that trial went well for him. And I hope he gets everything he wants out of wrestling. I love Josh Bishop. And Josh Bishop is a big Zilla guy. And so there's part of me too, where it's like, in the ways that I might not be the biggest fan of Zilla, there's people that I really like and really respect that do praise him. And I respect them enough to be like, you know what? All right, that's cool. You're seeing a different side than I am or than what's been put out publicly. So that's, and this isn't to say that Zilla's some terrible dude or anything like that. It was just very clear what his career trajectory was. Like, you really don't see it often. And the only thing that we're seeing comparable to it right now kind of is Avery. It pans out the same way, but I just never seen somebody before who was, I don't want to say as limited as Zilla, but he's really, I always called him New Maga because he's a son of Umaga and he does the Samoan spike. He does the Superman version of Samoan spike. And a lot of his matches, especially early on, were predicated on him pretty much just not doing a whole lot and then coming back and spiking people and hardly ever losing. And he was getting pushed super hard, super fast. Does that sound familiar, by the way? We were talking about an industry plant earlier. He was getting pushed super hard, super fast. Didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, but they just kept going with him. And then he had a big blow up with GCW. And if you want to call it a big blow up, there was a public, like I said, Brett talking about this guy's got less than 20 matches and he's making demands. This is ridiculous. But everybody knew that he was, he trained with Booker T. He had a falling out with Booker T in reality of wrestling, but he mended fences, obviously. But, it's just, on one hand, I'm like, okay, good for you. You seem talented. I still feel like the verdict's kind of out, but in the WWE, they can hide your weaknesses. But at the same time, it didn't turn out well for Jeff Cobb, and I think Jeff Cobb is infinitely more talented Zilla Fatu is. You know what I mean? I know that Jeff Cobb isn't technically in the family, but they tried to have him as a part of the bloodline story through the MFTs and all that. And there's a lot of similarities between Zilla and some of the people already in that family, already on TV. Like, what makes you stand out? Like, Solo already does the Samoan Spike. All the members of the family already do that splash. Like, all this stuff he's coming in and doing, there's already members of his family already doing this stuff who are more over, who have way more experience. And so I just don't, you know what I mean? It was inevitable he was going to get signed, but like, it's not like I'm like excited to see him join the bloodline. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's probably what's going to eventually happen. And then I see the jokes I don't know if they're jokes, but I see people online like that'll be like, well, where's Sean Maluda at? You know, remember Sean Maluda from the Cruiserweight Classic? He's like a married-in cousin to the Anoa'i family. Like, he wrestles. Like, where's he at? You know, where's Manu at? You know, like, Bing came back. At least I love Beast too, but like, if you're in this family, this is it. And you know how it goes. To his credit, like you said, it's gotten a lot of social media buzz, a lot of views. You can't take that away. That there's value to that. That means something. But I don't know what Zilla Fatu brings to the table that like every other member of that family already on the show already does. So how do you stand it?
I think it's probably good that he's starting in NXT. I don't recall a super standout match from him on the independent scene.
He had some good ones like with Josh. Like, basically his best stuff I think is in Fourth Rope. If you people want to check that stuff out, that's probably the best place because they kind of made him like the face of the promotion. And
right.
Yeah, so I'd probably say that the stuff there if you wanted to check. He had like, to Enzo's credit, like him and they had good, like some of the best matches I've ever seen Enzo Amore have were against guys like Zilla in Fourth Rope. So just throwing that out there. But
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen too much of the Fourth Row stuff. Like I saw the MJF match.
Right, there's just not much to it, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's
but the Amazing Red match, which was his last match on the independent scene.
Seeing that this is right, and that's like I don't think there's ever been. I'm sure there have been out there, but like I can't think of them off the top of my head. More of like just you just straight up got signed because of your family. Like I know he put in work and I know he made towns and I know he wrestles, but having less than 100 matches and the push that he's gotten and all of these companies have been a part of, and it happened to coincide when the bloodline was at its peak of popularity is when he got in. You know, it's just like into wrestling, not into the WWE, but he's only been wrestling for like less than 3 years probably. So
he has. Well, there was talks of him being signed like 2 years ago.
Yes.
So, because that's when he was like starting to get pulled from some events because people thought he was going to get signed at that point.
Yeah. Which would have been, I mean, here's the thing. If I'm him though, like obviously you don't like pass any of these opportunities up. Like, even like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not blaming him really at all for anything. I just, you know, I think it's pretty clear the point I'm making and that, you know, it's not even like it's right or wrong. It's just like, this is what happened. There's a guy with very little experience who doesn't really bring a whole lot to the table, in my opinion, that got signed super, super fast with not a lot of experience. And the reason that happened is because there's a storyline on WWE TV where like every member of your family gets to join and he's in the family.
I don't know when he'll be up on the main roster. I don't know if he's fully ready for the main roster. That's why I think it's a good idea that he's in NXT to start with. He's still got to prove something in NXT, at least to an extent. Probably not as much as other people are going to have to prove something, but he's still got to prove something in NXT before, you know, they're obviously going to be willing to commit to him being part of, I mean, the big overarching story in WWE for the past 6 years now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's probably the best thing they could do for him, especially if they continue the approach that he's had his whole career to this point, if they just continue to push him like a monster on NXT, because the other thing is like he doesn't have like the size of like Umaga and like the
he slimmed down. He's actually gotten in like good shape. Like he used to be a little bit bigger.
Yes, but he's not buff. He's not. So I mean, probably. But here's the thing. Now he's in the WWE. He's about to be on that WWE program of it. I mean, look at CM Punk, look at Cody Rhodes, look at all these guys. And by the way, I'm not accusing them of anything illegal or anything. I just like when you're in the WWE, you have the resources to the best everything, like the best recovery, the best training. You have money, so you can afford this stuff. You know, it's so I expect Zilla will put on size and put on muscle. Because if he was looking like Bronson Reed, like how Bronson Reed currently looks, like I've seen like the pictures of him slimming down. If he got to be looking kind of like that, this is a whole different conversation, because now you look like a monster. On top of you can kind of compensate for like the lack of experience with like just the sheer kind of presentation. But what I think, honestly, for Zilla's sake, I think that like the best case scenario for him is they have him actually like go undefeated for a while, or maybe his whole NXT run. You have him beat pretty much everyone. You have him win the championship. I'm probably honestly more interested in him being pushed in NXT than Grayson Waller or Cruz Montana. Like, honestly, like, even though I'm a bigger fan of like the other two guys, probably like, I think Zilla, there's like, if you pushed him correctly, if you made Zilla the man in NXT and you made him really hard to beat. So like by the time he actually debuted with the Bloodline or against the Bloodline, when he shows up on WWE TV, there's like the WWE fan base is familiar with him from NXT as like an unstoppable kind of guy who can actually contribute to this story. That's a totally different thing, but you have to do that over time. Like you said, you have to be in NXT for a while to accomplish this. What you don't want to do is put him in there as he currently is, or even, this isn't even his fault, but like there's guys floundering on the main roster or have already come and gone from the WWE, like Jeff Cobb, Camacho's always, I'm just going to be real, Camacho's always been bad. But like these guys who are Tongaloa, huh?
How dare you, Tongaloa the GOAT?
He might be the worst television wrestler I've ever seen. But the point is, those guys, they just debuted right on the main roster cold without the fan base who, like, these fans, most of these WWE fans are not following New Japan and the places these people are coming from. So like if he did the same thing to Zilla Fatu, he's probably a fish in the water. Like it's just, this is just another family member. Like what's different about him than these other guys who have come and gone, So it's probably better for him to go to NXT. I know he's in NXT, but I think he should have it's smart. It's way smarter to do it that way for him than to put it right on the show. Because even Solo Sikoa had, like, I was covering Solo Sikoa on NXT Level Up, and then he did some stuff on NXT, and he became like the national champion or whatever on that show for a while. And while he was still pretty relatively unknown when he debuted in the WWE, at least there were some people that were like, "Oh, that's Uso's brother. Like, I know him from NXT." Like, so there was at least something there versus just like, "Oh, and there's another one. Well, they're multiplying. There's another Uso. Like, where are these people coming from? You know what I mean?" So that's how I feel like people would feel about Zilla if he came in out of the complete blue. They'd just be confused. They'd be like, "Oh, there's another. How is he related to the family?" And then say, "Oh, he's a Maga's kid." And then he does the spike, and you're like, "Wait a second, doesn't Solo already do the spike?" But that's one last thing I'll say about all of this, because I know we got to wrap up. The most confusing thing about these second or third or whatever generation wrestlers in the Anoa'i family, they are adopting moves from the wrong family members. Is anyone else noticing this but me? Like, why is, like, okay, so Ming, Haku, whatever you want to call him, he is the originator of the Tongan Death Grip.
Yeah.
Who are his sons?
It's Tama.
EOD.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to call the version of them now? Yeah, Tama and Tala. Why are they not doing the Tongan Death Grip? But Jacob Fatu is doing the tongue death grip. Who is Umaga's kid?
Zilla. Solo and Zilla. Or sorry, Zilla. Yeah, Solo's not.
Solo is not his kid.
Yeah.
Solo is the son of Rikishi.
Yeah, but Solo's doing the spike.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why are they adopting moves from the family, from the wrong family members?
It's all in the family, Jensen.
I'm just saying, because now when this happens, it looks like for the people who aren't in the know, they're going to see Zilla doing the spike and think he's ripping off Solo.
All Zilla does is everything. Oh, here's a Samoan drop. Here's a splash. Here's a Superman punch. Here's a Samoan spike. All he does is moves from his own family.
3 minutes. 3 minute warning, baby. Anyway, so I'm just throwing it out there. I kind of marked out seeing Haku back in the fold. I know it's pretty minor, and he's just kind of, managing Tala and Tama, but I've been calling for him to be a part of. I think he should have been involved when the Bloodline storyline was really hot, years ago. I think Ming should have. I always call him Ming because WCW, but I've always thought that he should have been involved in this. So I'm just glad he's a part of the show now. But anyway, it's just some food for thought, and it's just a little pet peeve of mine where I'm like, you have people in the company, you have their parents in the company. Everyone knows Rikishi and the moves he does and this and that. Why is Solo doing Umaga's move, but Umaga's kid's doing Umaga's move, but Jacob's doing Ming's move, but Ming's kids aren't doing Ming's moves. I just what's going on here? But hey, at the end of the day, they've got jobs.
All right, Jensen, let everybody know where they can find you on it.
Find me on X at @FightTalk_ Skull Vikings. And I know we're missing it right now, but I know the NFL preseason is going on. So soon we will have to be back in our mode of power of speed running the show to be done by Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
But that's right around the corner. And good to see everyone. We were off last week, obviously. Thanks again to Mose for always, joining us. Mose is the man. I forgot to ask him, but I love obviously collecting merch and memorabilia. He always wears those hats during the commentary. One of these days, I'm gonna see if he'll just I could just buy one of the hats off his head, have him sign it for me, and throw it in. I'll put it in the next to the Cole Ryder shrine once he gives me his pants. But yeah, good to see everyone this week. And I think we're back next Thursday, right? There's nothing going on where we'd be off. So we'll see you guys next week. But Jeremy, any closing thoughts for everyone? And it was good to see you also, buddy. I missed you last week.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my mom last week. So just trying to take a week off from everything. Honestly, I did less writing than I've ever done. I did less shows than I've ever done. Kind of got away from things for a little bit, just hung out with my mom. But back to the grind now. Back to the grind. Appreciate you as always, Jensen. SP3 and I'll be back on In the Weeds tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to talk about. New Japan, TNA, allegedly. Hopefully not. We shall see. But Jensen and I will be back next Thursday talking everything going on in the world of wrestling. Hope everyone has a good night. We will talk to y'all later on.